Hello, HESA members. My name is Marilyn, and today I'm here to talk to you about the history of pumpkin carving and how to carve a pumpkin as part of our pumpkin carving contest for HESA students. So, where did pumpkin carving come from? Well, I had to do a little research myself because my memories of Halloween have always been dressing up as a kid, running around getting candy, carving the pumpkin with the family. And that was it. So it was an interesting little project for me, as well as I hope you enjoy some of this. So Halloween was derived from the Irish festival, and now I apologize, I'm probably not going to say this correctly. Samhain. The festival marks the passage of summer into winter. So you may be noticing that it is getting a little bit chillier if you're in Morgantown. I know I got my flannel on to keep me warm. During Samhain, they would light bonfires because it was believed that evil spirits lurked in the shadows. To further ward off the evil spirits, they also carved faces into turnips. Now these faces were just typically eyes, 2 eye holes, and a mouth, and pumpkin carving has come a long way since then. The turnips that were carved used to have candles inside of them to make them like a little lantern. The face would glow, and they would be placed in the windows facing the roads, as well as lining some of the roads. It was believed that if they were placed there, it would help ward off evil spirits for those who were traveling along the roads at night. The tradition of pumpkin carving was first seen in America in the mid-1800s. It came over when some Irish immigrants also came over. When it came to America, it did switch into pumpkins because pumpkins were easy to find in the United States, as well as they were a lot easier to carve than some of the turnips. Today, pumpkin carving in America is seen as a favorite fall family pastime. People go a lot more intricate on their pumpkin carving than the traditional 2 eyes and a mouth. There are many people who carve cats and spiders and witches and bats, so feel free to get creative with your pumpkin carving. There's also the opportunity that if you don't want to carve, you can paint a pumpkin and submit that as well. So stay tuned to find out more about how to carve a pumpkin. So now we're moving on to the pumpkin carving part of the video. So for this, you're going to need a pumpkin. I got this at Kroger. They have them lined up outside, but any grocery store. You can also have some fun going to a pumpkin patch and picking one up yourself. You want something, I don't know, if you look, it's not too big. Ignore the mess in the background. I have a tiny apartment, but it's not too big. The bigger you get, the harder it's going to be to cut. One of the big things that you want to look for is make sure that you have a nice stem that you can use as a handle on it. And then on the bottom, you want to just make sure that it's not gooey, especially if you go to a pumpkin patch and it's been sitting out in the rain. Some of this might have rotted a little bit. But other than that, you can pick relatively any shape, any size that you want. They are natural, so they will have imperfections like this, but I'll show you a little bit more about what we can do with that later in the video. So you got your pumpkin. You're going to need some candles. Again, I picked these up. They smell like candy corn from Kroger, 35 cents each. You don't need 3. I got 3 because I like the smell of them. But you can get 3. You can get lights like this that turn on. I have these in a bottle, but if you were using them for the pumpkin, you would take them out of the bottle clearly and stick them in the pumpkin. You're going to want a big kitchen knife. This is the bad boy that's going to be cutting into our pumpkin. And then this is a pumpkin carving kit. Again, I picked this up at Kroger for about $5. There's larger kits that you can certainly find, and you'll find the pumpkin carving kit and the candles in the section that houses the Halloween candy. So if you're struggling to find those at all, that is where it is housed. Alright, so first step is first. You're going to want to pick out your design. Now, if you're creative, you can go ahead and make a design of your own. If you're not so creative, you might flip through some of these pages and find something that you like. So, that's cute. I think we might do this. we're going to do the boo. So for this, we're going to go ahead and use our big knife. And the trick here is you want to make a circle around the top of your pumpkin. And the trick with this, since this is going to be the lid to your pumpkin, is you want to go in at an angle. So you don't want to go straight in, otherwise when you put your lid back down, it's just going to go ahead and drop right in. So if you come in at this angle here, it will allow you to put the lid back on when you're done carving your pumpkin. So we're just going to go ahead. You want to make sure that it's large enough that when you pull this out, you can get your hand inside the pumpkin itself. But now see, if I put that back down, it's not going to drop through because I did it at that little bit of an angle. From here, you're going to want to get a bowl. I got my bowl here, and I'm going to open up my packet. And it's probably a good idea if you have any jewelry or anything on, take it off. This is the part that gets a little messy. So you're going to open your packet up. You can also use a regular spoon. You don't need this pumpkin carving kit. If you're trying to save money, that's okay. You don't need it. You just need some good knives and feel comfortable using your knives. I personally like it, especially if you have little ones that you're going to be using to help pumpkin carve. They're pretty safety concerning, so it's not super sharp, but it's sharp enough that it'll get through the pumpkin. So your little ones can use these under supervision as well. So we're going to take your lid off. You're going to use your little scraper on the edge here and just go ahead and scrape all your seeds and your gunk from your lid into your bowl. And you can kind of claw it. Really, there's no perfect way to carve a pumpkin. You just kind of get the gunk lid clear like this. You can go ahead and set it to the side because now we get to go into the pumpkin, if you can see that all right. So we're going to go in, and look at that. All those seeds came out. And so you're just going to kind of repeat this process until your pumpkin is nice and clear on the inside. So see all those strings coming out? You don't want those in there. So once you're done scraping, this is what the inside of your pumpkin should kind of look like. So you can see where it all scraped. The big things you want to make sure of is that the inside rims kind of here, there's nothing hanging down because your candle's going to go in the bottom there. And so you don't want something hanging into the fire out from your candle. So once you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and find the face of the pumpkin that you want to put it on. So typically when you carve a pumpkin, you're looking for a flatter surface of the pumpkin. Now they are natural objects, so there's going to be some sides that are a little bumpy. If you want to cut through that, that's fine. I like to put the bumpy sides to the back of my pumpkin. And I don't know if you can see this or not. My pumpkin has somewhat of a flatter side right here. So this is where I'm going to put my little boo carving. So I did forget one item that you'll also need, some Scotch tape here, and this will just help stick this to your pumpkin. So you can go ahead and kind of tear this paper up a little bit. So I just shortened it up so that it would be easier to stick to my pumpkin because my pumpkin is on a little bit of a smaller side here, and this is a larger photo. So one of the other tricks to pumpkin carving is you want to make sure that your design stays about 2 or 3 inches from the bottom. If you carve too low, you'll be carving into the bottom and the candlelight won't come through as well. So I'm going to keep it a little bit high here And I'm going to put a piece of tape here and a piece of tape on the bottom. Part. So we're going to take our tools. So these two tools right here are for carving. And this tool right here is for marking. So it's a marker, so you can sketch your design. We're going to cut out all the black. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of stab this in there. Just a little bit. Ooh. Well, would you look at that? This is kind of, again, like I said, get creative with this part. So we're just going to I've cut out everything around here. So I'm going to go ahead and take off my thing. So how to pop them out, you're going to press your fingers on the inside of the pumpkin and try and push out. If they come out, great. You're going to take that and put it in your trash. If they don't come out, you don't want to force too hard, because when you force too hard, you might break it or ruin your design. You just want to go back around the edge of this again. Just make sure all the edges are kind of loosened up. And then go back and push. Alright, so something's not liking to come out there. We're just going to go through again. There we go. Starting to come. Sometimes when you have tighter corners that you got to push out, it gets a little bit harder. So, because you might not cut all the way through the first time. Be a little bit gentler when you push, so I wanted these two little bumps in there to stay on, so I wanted to be a little bit gentler. So now from here, I want to see what you guys, okay, so you can see that pretty well, right? But if you look at my exclamation point, you can't quite see in there too well. So I'm just going to take this and I'm going to just angle it a little bit and go in and cut away a little bit of the fleshy inside, so that when the light's inside, it shines out. I'm pretty satisfied with that. My hands are a little messy, and that's okay. I'm going to pull my trash can around and put some of my stuff in the trash. Grab the spoon, take out what I just cut out of the pumpkin. Again, this is also a great thing. Now at this point, your pumpkin's probably pretty gross, so if you take a napkin or a paper towel or something, you can just go ahead and wipe that gunk off your pumpkin. Alright, so you want a lighter, something to light your candles with. Again, if you're using electronic ones, flip on your switch. Ow. Don't be like me. Don't almost light your hand on fire. Alright, I think I lied earlier. Probably is a little bit easier you go ahead and place it in like that. Light the second one in there. Put that in. Alright, let's see how it looks. Alright, so this is it without a flash on. You can see again where I was talking about how you want to make sure you carve out enough so you can see light in some of these smaller holes, right? And you can see that candle right in there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. So if you are just joining me today to learn how to carve a pumpkin, hopefully this video helped you. And if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me them.